Halftime at the Lusail Stadium, and it's Argentina have taken a lead. Croatia's trend of being on the back foot in all of the games they played at the tournament continues. But what are your thoughts on the first half?
Well, I think it was not too close a first half we all expected. Yeah, I'm
not happy.
absolutely not happy. Yeah, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
I'm not happy. I think that some of the refereeing in this tournament has been absolutely disastrous. I mean, that first penalty, that first goal, I'm struggling to understand why and how it was allowed to go the way it did. But maybe the dynamics are different for other players and the dynamics are different for other teams. But I think that in the spirit of fair play, I do not understand how that penalty was allowed to stand. But you speak about the fact that the Croats have towed a particular line. I think that they have allowed themselves to not score. They have not scored a goal in the first half of games, like you said before the game kicked off, and they have followed that particular trend. I think that in this game, Argentina have been super efficient. They have allowed the Croats to get the ball in the first 20-25 minutes. The Croats bossed the possession in midfield, and indeed for large stretches of the game they bossed the possession, but Argentina picked their moments and picked them apart. You understand? I mean, I'm surprised Lovren is still a feature with this Croats. I think that if anybody is to blame for that penalty, which I think wasn't a penalty, it has to be Dejan Lovren. He was a tad slow. He allowed the player to sneak in behind him, and for me, I think that Argentina have picked their moment and they have punished the Croats because of the extra. Indeed, all of the two goals that the Croats have conceded were avoidable. The second goal, you do not do that against a team that is full of world-class players like Argentina. I mean, it was comical defending. And first goal, you do not allow that space, that much level of space for a team that can pick you apart in moments like the way Argentina does. But all said and done, it looks like Argentina have one foot in the final. I struggle to see how Croatia will come back in this game.
Okay, let's talk about the biggest talking point, the penalty.
He's giving up.
Well, we'll come to that in a jiffy. I'll probably give him reason to believe why it's not over until it's over. But was that a penalty?
You know, when the game was going on and the penalty incident came, I was asking Kofi, where is the penalty? I personally, I'm struggling to find where the infringement was. But I've heard people say, okay, probably the referee decided to give an infringement because, Julian Alvarez was trying to go around the goalkeeper after, he nicked the ball. Honestly, in my honest opinion, I do not think that this is a penalty. Would this infringement have stood anywhere outside the box? It could be yes, it could be no. And so, just as it's a 50-50, I think that let's give the referee the benefit of the doubt, because if some may argue that would this infringement have been given, outside the box, some referees may not take it because some may consider it as a clash, and they will not take it. Some referees will take it, but for the stakes in this game, I think that it literally switched the complexion of the game and changed the dynamics of the game, because then it gave Argentina that psychological edge if they scored, and Lionel Messi scored. From there on, you could clearly see that Argentina started growing to the game. But I feel that it wasn't a clear penalty, an incident that warranted the referee to blow his whistle for a penalty. And he didn't even check with the VAR. I think that if he had checked with the VAR, it would have given him a second look at it, and probably he would have changed his mind. But I didn't see the Croatians also protest a lot. Maybe they felt
there was actually protestations from the Croatians. It led to Kovacic getting a yellow card.
But I think that why didn't they call for a VAR review? Why didn't the VAR official call for the referee to actually have a second look at the incident again?
Now, here's my take. I feel the VAR did not come in, or I think the VAR did not come in, because the VAR has borderlines on which it runs. It must be deemed as a clear and obvious error. And in order for that to happen, one of the things that would be considered has got to be the referee's positioning as at the time the incident occurred.
It was very close to the incident.
Those in the booth assumed that his position was well enough because he was close to the incident.
Very close to the incident.
He, in literal terms, watched it happen in HD. So from that point of view, They feel the referee has seen enough to have gone on to take that decision, and hence they don't need to interfere. But on the bit of officiating at this particular tournament, we've seen Mateo Lajos being sent home, Daniel Siebert has been sent home. A couple of the other referees, the Rapalini who officiated Morocco versus Portugal has also been sent home.
Exactly.
So it does tell you officiating has been suspect. On my part, if I was in the middle, I wouldn't have given that penalty because of the stature of the game. This is a World Cup semi-finals. It must be obvious. It must be too clear enough for you to point to the sport. Because one, what this does is it knocks the stuffings out of this Croatian team. They have been hit. Let's take nothing away from them. They've been hit psychologically. It's on Dalic to revive this team, get them back up to what they can do. But you can clearly see that goal took the stuffings out of it. And also, on the other end, give Argentina the momentum. You give them the energy to have a go at because they were there for the taking. And now they've got that goal. And to that particular second goal, I can only remember Sergio Ramos, Federico Valverde.
Exactly.
That Spanish Super Cup, where he hacked down Antoine Griezmann. Where was the Croatian?
I think that.
It's no dirty man.
But you see,
dirty man.
The penalty incident had played into the minds of the people because the incident was such, unpredictable that if he had gone in, it would have probably fouled the man and it would have been an infringement.
He picked the ball in his own half.
Yep.
Hack him down the center line. Take one for the team, like Kofi is saying.
But you see, nobody, predicted that Julian Alvarez will go all the way. And some of the incidents that happened were a bit more, fortuitous and all of that, because the ricochet and all of that, I didn't expect that. But I feel that, again, Sosa, I feel that he was the main culprit in there, because at some point you need to defend closer. Julian Alvarez had the opportunity to have a second bite because Sosa was not so close to him. Because if he was very close, the ball would have ricocheted out of the way of Julian Alvarez. So it was a bit of misfortune coupled with bad defending that played in the hands of Argentina. You are a believer of the universe working together for people. So in a way, we could say that today it looks like the universe is working together for Argentina.
Kofi, Argentina have themselves in a very, very comfortable position, but there's the other side of the coin. Croatia, like I mentioned, have actually not scored the first goal of a particular game. They scored. I checked, and they scored in the first half. That was just once against Canada, where Canada took the lead. But in all of the games they've played, they've not taken the lead. They've always come from behind. Can they do it when the stakes are even higher tonight?
Well, with the mileage of football they've had to play all throughout this tournament, question is that will they have the energy to come back in this particular game? Well, this is a high-octane game, you understand? And if you look at the stakes at play, will they have the energy? Will they have the temperament? Will they have what it takes to come back? Yes, if it was a one-goal margin, I wouldn't put it beyond them to come back. But 2 goals, I think that's a bit of asking too much for these Croats. Especially we speak about the fact that most of the individual players who are supposed to be the kingpins, who are supposed to be the generalismos in this team, are quite old. I mean, we are talking about Luka Modric, who is 37, 38. You understand?
Yes.
Will they have? Look at the number of minutes they have had to rack on their odometers. Look at the minutes the Croats have had to play in this tournament. I think that yes, maybe mentally they have the strength, but I think that the physicality and the amount of pressure and energy they've exerted in this particular tournament will just not allow them to come back in this particular game.
Like, can Croatia come back?
No, I do not think so.
My
head is saying I do not think
Argentine
so. My heart
team
is saying I do not think so.
Spend a 2-goal lead in the last 20 minutes against Netherlands. This is an Argentine team who, for the 5th consecutive game, have taken a 2-goal lead. Against Australia, they left the door open. Against Netherlands, they left the door open. Can Croatia, who have had the knack of coming from behind every single time they've gone behind, can they find that extra energy?
At least my oracle senses is working today, because I predicted that there'll be goals in the first half, and I'll predict the outcome of the game after the first half. So I'll confidently say that I do not think that the Croatians will claw their way back into this game. Yes, they may get a goal, but I think that the Argentines have enough quality in them to kill this game, to shut down this game. I foresee the Argentine side going all the way to the final. Like Kofi said, excuse me, like Kofi said, listen, the Croats have exerted too much energy, and like you said, they've played the most minutes in this World Cup, and it comes there comes a time when it's telling on you. It takes a toll on you, and these are not young players. Luka Modric, Kovacic,
highest.
Exactly. So, do they have the legs to again go the long haul? Do they have the legs to take on this Argentine side? I think that no. Yes, they may get a goal, but I do not think that they would, claw their way, from 2 goals down, make this game more exciting by taking it to, the extra time and possibly taking it to the penalty shootout. No, I do not think so. I want to predict and believe that this game will end in regulation time, 90 minutes, and it will go the way of Argentina.
Kofi, if you were Dalic and you have at the back of your mind, this is a team that has clawed back, and you saw how Argentina were vulnerable against the Netherlands, which loopholes would you want to look at and
get a top player in? I mean, we said something before the game that they put in a lot of crosses. I've not seen that in this game. Get a tall striker in, put in the crosses, see what happens. That's what I expect Dalic to do.
So guys, if you're tuned in and watching us live on YouTube, let me inform you that do well to share the link, invite other friends to also join in the feed. I'll take a few of your comments. And Kobe Asian is not pretty much pleased with the decision of the penalty. He says FIFA is just cheating. It looks like FIFA is looking for Messi in the final, trying to gift him the trophy. Let's see. VP Reality says cheap penalty, horrible defending by the Croats. Argenta Stat says Argentina would not lose this game. But PHA comes and says, I want the Argentines to lose this one. Kwesi Aful says he's cheering Argentina and sending a few Argentina flags to the comment section. And Zongo Media says FIFA just wants to cement the status. How is this a penalty? And Chantel says, I agree with you, Zongo Media. Greetings from Top 10. So thank you very much for your comments. Thank you very much for joining in on the feed. This is Sports 101. This is halftime analysis of the first semi-final. It looks like Argentina have a foot in the final, and it remains to be seen whether they can see out the last 45 minutes. But Lucky, we've spoken about Scaloni's in-game management, and he's not tend to have it all in the knockout phases. Considered in the second half against Australia, considered in the second half against Netherlands.
The Dutch side.
Can you see out this one quickly?
Like I said, I think that the Croatians have a goal in them in this game. I want to see Dalic take the second half very aggressively, take the game to the Argentines. But I'm hoping that Scaloni would manage this game or tell the boys that listen, 10 minutes to full time, 20 minutes to full time. Try and conserve energy, and literally, if you can stretch the Croats, I'm hoping that he'll bring somebody like Di Maria on, somebody like Dybala on to stretch the Croats. Try to make the pitch wider for them, because the midfield of the Croats they have a very solid midfield. So what you need to do is try and go wide, stretch them, and see if you can exploit the pace of Di Maria and maybe Paulo Dybala, because I think that these Croats would have a say in the second half, but I'm expecting that the Argentines will hold their own in the second half.
So the guys here are more than convinced that Argentina would hold their own. We'll be back at full time to break down all of the events from this particular one and also build up to tomorrow's second semi-final between Morocco and France.